Okay, so this is the key to the worksheet on called slopes and intercepts. And number one, you want to find the slope of the line containing the following 2 points, and then you want to show that you're using a slope formula in order to get all your points. All right, so remember this: if you're given 2 lines, then the slope formula is this. Let me go and write it right here. Slope equals y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. And so remember the order in which you write this does matter. So if you start with y2 in the numerator, you must start with x sub 2 in the denominator. And so let's go ahead and label these. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. And so if you want to find the slope of the line that contains those 2 points, you just substitute these values into the formula. So y2 is negative 11. So you're going to subtract y1, which is 5, divided by, now since I started y2, I'm going to start with x2 in the denominator, so that's a negative 7. And you can subtract the other x coordinate, which is a negative 3. In the numerator, a negative 5 and a negative 11 is a negative 16. The denominator, negative 7 subtract a negative 3, means negative 7 plus 3. So you get negative 16 divided by negative 4, which is a positive 4. So there's the slope. So the slope for number 1 is 4. There's the work that you have to show. All right, so it says show, and then there's the slope. Okay. Now number 2, it says for the following line, determine the slope in the y-intercept. Well, one of the things you learned was that if you have y by itself, then that's called slope-intercept form. So y equals mx plus b, right? And so the coefficient of x is your slope, and the y-intercept, that b here, is your y-intercept. Okay? So in number 2, you already have it in slope-intercept form. So if you rewrite this, you can think of this as y equals 3/4 x minus 5, right? And so the slope is 3/4, and your y-intercept is negative 5. So there's your slope, which is 3/4, and your y-intercept is negative 5. Not positive 5, negative 5. That's where the graph will cross the y-axis at negative 5. In number 3, so we talked about slope-intercept form. So if you want to find the slope in the y-intercept, then if you can write this in slope-intercept form, you can easily determine the slope in the y-intercept. Well, this is not in slope-intercept form, but we can easily do that. It's very easy to get y by itself. So let's go ahead and do that. So let me go ahead and do that here. So I have 3x plus 5, y equals negative 10. So I'm going to subtract 3x on both sides to get the y term by itself. So when I combine like terms, I get 5y equals a negative 3x minus 10, right? Then to get y by itself, I'm going to divide both sides by 5, just like this. So I get this. I get y equals negative 3/5 x, negative 3x divided by 5, negative 3/5 x. Okay? And a negative 10 divided by 5 is a negative 2. All right? So now you know the slope. So the slope, so y is by itself, so now this is in slope-intercept form. So the coefficient of x is a negative 3/5, and your y-intercept is a negative 2. Okay? All right, and number 4, you want to find the equation of the line in slope-intercept form with the given slope and y-intercept. All right, this is an easy one because you're told the slope is 8, right? And you're told the y-intercept, b, is negative 5. And so slope-intercept form, remember, we just talked about it here, but slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And if you're going to write an equation in slope-intercept form, then you need to know the slope and the y-intercept, and you do. Slope is 8, y-intercept is negative 5. It's just a matter of you taking these values of the variables and substituting into here. So I get y equals 8, the slope is 8, x, and then plus b, so that's minus 5. So y equals 8x minus 5. Okay, and that's it. So that is the key to this worksheet.